Now, a report has revealed the normalization of adult-minor relationships where children above the age of 12 are said to be targeted for sexual exploitation. The study by the Center for Analytics and Behavioral Change sampled over 600 pregnancies among 10 to 14-year-old girls in eThekwini metropolitan area of KwaZulu-Natal. Now, the SABC last week released a report titled The State of Child Predation Online, which analyzes online discourse and digital behavior. The report reveals how harmful narratives and exploitative content targeting children are spreading across social media platforms. The behavior was tracked from June of 2024 to May of this year. The SABC's investigation employed a multi-phase methodology rooted in social media analytics. Researchers used a keyword-based query system to track conversations related to child predation, statutory rape, teenage pregnancy, and the sexualization of minors. To expand the conversation, we're joined by Janse from the Center for Analytics and Behavioral Change to talk to us about this very troubling issue. Carl, a very good evening. Carl, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. One of the report's findings is the increasing normalization of adult-minor relationship. That's rather frightening, to say the least. What was the basis of your research and what did you seek to achieve?
It's a very good evening to you as well, and that's a very interesting question. Initially, this report started out to investigate only the proliferation of child sexual abuse material, or CSAM, online. And we very quickly realized that we need to dive a bit deeper into the narratives and the conversations happening online, just to expand where this could come from. And that's exactly what we did, because while going through some of our other reports and writing the other reports and doing research around those reports, we uncovered certain images, certain narratives being proliferated online. And so we thought, let's do a deep dive and find out what is the extent of the problem on social media. And that has since expanded to this report, which obviously includes the narrative analysis as well, that looks at these the types of conversations being had in respect of those child and older individuals' relationships.
I know you also analyzed how language was used, certain expressions in code form, which indicates the sexualization of minors is becoming disturbingly commonplace. Indeed,
and it's often found softer. You know, the one reflected in the report is after 12 is lunch, which is coded language for after the age of 12. Essentially, a man can engage in sexual relations with a child. Another one we found, which is also coded, is a statement such as individuals prefer a car with lower mileage than a car with higher mileage. And then at the end of that post, there would be a statement such as, this post is not about cars, which indicates that sort of sexualization, that looking for a certain type of response and perpetuating a certain narrative.
So these expressions are often shared without consequence. Surely that now reflects a broader societal shift.
100%. And there is absolutely no way of challenging this on Twitter currently, so because it is coded language. So if you report it, it's not going to be taken down because it's not harmful in a traditional sense. You know, I actually did a post on Meta AI, and I asked it, Meta, what does after 12 is lunch in the South African context mean? And Meta AI could not give me the contextual background. And when you don't have moderators with that contextual background, nothing will happen. But that's a broader issue with X and I'd say social media platforms in general, because when we looked into the child sexual abuse material, it's rife on Twitter. We have accounts dedicated to posting this type of content. It's children in school clothes, it's young presenting females, for lack of a better way of putting it, or children, And there's absolutely no moderation. We have actual networks, whether coordinated or loosely coordinated, posting and reposting each other's content.
So what kind of awareness is needed here for children themselves, but also parents, guardians, when it comes to educating young people on the use and dangers of social media?
I think educating is the key word there, Mpo. And I'd firstly like to start with social media platform responsibility. We've seen now Facebook, TikTok, Instagram as well take steps to prevent nude content and pornographic content being shared on their platforms, and it's immediately removed. We have not seen that that same action being taken by platforms such as X, which essentially allows for this. What I'd also like to see is platforms take a bit more initiative. You know, we've seen WhatsApp take steps where you cannot screenshot certain images. It's completely blocked. If you try to screenshot, it will tell you screen grabs are not allowed in this app. This should be across the board. Of course, it's not a catch-all solution. We will still find it because you can still screen grab on your computer if you have that the relevant applications. However, that would be a step forward. I think for parents, for children, it's to always be aware that what you put out on social media stays on social media. And to enhance your safety, you know, a lot of these platforms have the ability where you can lock your account, and what your post is only shared to your tight followers, your community essentially. And one would hope that that is a trusted community. But there's also a deeper conversation we need to have about the current social media culture, or the culture that social media installs.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Wrapping up that discussion with Kyle Janse from the Center for Analytics and Behavioral Change.